My name is Olis, and I'm a grateful member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for my life, and I just to be asked to do it. And I love you, Teresa. So thank you so much. And Ali came to the Bronx Big Book, which is my home group, and set it aflame. And my sobriety date is May 21st, 1987. My home group is the Bronx Big Book. I don't care. I'm not going back to the in-person meetings. I'm sticking with that. So I want to just talk about how I felt. I want to tell on myself before I start sharing on the 11th step. Teresa came to support somebody at Bronx Big Book and yelled out at the end of the meeting as we were saying goodbye, "Alice, you have to share." And I was like, "Yeah, call me." Because I was like, good luck. And then she called, and then she gave me a date. And then I saw her again, and she was like, "Alice, I got to book you to share." And I was like, "Oh, good, she forgot." And so I'm going to just lay low, because after I said yes to her, I asked her what the format was. And she was like, "You share for 40 minutes. And I was like, "I got that." And then she was like, "There's 40 minutes of Q&A. And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here. I ain't got 40 minutes of answers." So I had a fight with God, because I want a nice, quiet life. I don't want to speak. I don't want to be in the light. I don't want to be public. I'm the booker at the Bronx Big Book, and I love the back. I love booking. I love talking to people. I love listening to them. And I got you for 2 minutes at a time. But here I am. And so me and God had a fight, and I surrendered, because that's all I know. Honestly and truly, for me, the third step is the backbone of my 11-step practice, right? If I had not made that decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God, like, I wouldn't be here. And when Teresa called, I have an ear infection. And so I was like, sure, yeah, because I've been trained to say yes. And I just got the 12 by 12. And I really am a big book person, but I got the 12 by 12 was close. I got the 12 by 12. I opened it up, and this was literally the first sentence. And I was like, let's do that. And in reflecting on it today, it makes a lot of sense, because it leaves us a broad highway to talk about the 11th step. And I want to just read the sentence again and tell you my understanding of this sentence. Prayer and meditation is our principal means of conscious contact with God. So the point is conscious contact with God. And it doesn't say that prayer and meditation is the only means. It doesn't say that prayer and meditation is in and of itself the goal. It says that prayer and meditation is a good way, is a primary way, is a principal means to getting conscious contact with God. But however you want to get conscious contact with God, if it works for you, it works for me, right? The point is to get there and to have it, and to be in constant, for me, struggle to keep the I think Ralph W. calls it the receiver, right? To keep the connector between me and God clean. So I will certainly talk about prayer and meditation, but I want to just make sure that I'm clear up front that what really is important to me and what I want to share my experience around is how I have conscious contact with God. And it may not make sense to other people. It is a God of my understanding. It's a relationship of my own choosing. And that freed me. That helped me free myself from the bondage. Because if it had to be white Jesus on the cross, I was in trouble. I was never going to make it like that. I was never going to surrender to that. Never. I'd have died. I couldn't do that. And so when I got here and I read it, and it said, as you understand, it opened my mind to, well, what do I think God is? And what relationship would I want to have? And how do I talk to God? How do I listen to God? And it hasn't been a yogi experience for me, right? Like if you need me to say at 33 years, I meditate and levitate and it's 30 minutes a day, log off now. I don't do that. That's not what I got to offer you. What I can tell you is that the God that I understand doesn't care how I get there. The God that so I have a fight with God in the shower this afternoon, because I don't want to do this, right? And then it's not just this, right? Now I want to be super humble and grateful for the opportunity to share anything I have that's of value to anybody, because I am able to have it because someone gave it to me, and I'm able to keep it because I give freely. That's it, right? But I mean, can I do that sponsoring somebody? Can I do it in a 2 minute? Can I? Come on now. Because then Leslie hit me. Hey, share. I never did nothing to y'all. Why? You want, right? So it's just where I'm at, right? And I fought with God about it. And of course I lost, right? And I have to think about why. Why don't I want to do it? Right? This is the way conscious contact works. I look at myself, I look at how I behave, and I ask myself why. Why do you feel like that? Why are you doing that? Why are you having that reaction? What's your motive? What are you really uncomfortable with? What's up under that? And what I find when I continually grill myself, right? In the book, they call it self-examination. The book actually talks about self-examination and prayer and meditation together. Those things together lay a solid foundation. So it's that examining myself, right? When I find myself on page 52 in the bedevilments, I got to ask why? 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 Why do you want to get up in the middle of the night and go get ice cream? Why do you want to talk to this person that you really not really interested? Why? Right? And I have to get honest with myself, because God knows, the God of my understanding knows the truth. The God of my understanding is waiting for me to get to the truth. So, okay, that's my confession about this. And don't y'all ask me no hard ass questions, because Teresa told me I could say, I don't know. So how about that? I don't know. So let me talk about my 11-step lived experience. I'm hoping that I can tell you a little bit about why I committed so deeply to an 11-step practice, what that practice looks like, and when that practice happens for me. So let's talk about why, right? On my own power, under my own steam, my own will, I burnt my life to the ground. To the ground. At 26, to the ground. Ashes. Not even a frame, ashes. And people ask me, when I work with new people, they ask me lots of questions, but I always go to two things consistently: the book and how it felt. The book and how it felt, right? Because it doesn't matter what I drank. I had my first drink, Schaefer beer, at 4 years old. I drank Scotch, Dewar's White Label, and J&B at 8. At 13, I was drinking in the bars. A fucking train wreck. Train wreck. At 13, my boyfriend was 24 years old. None of the adults said anything was wrong with that. I was molested by a parade of people. I needed God. So by the time I got here at 26, my soul was on fire. I didn't have any friends because I couldn't be a friend. I couldn't keep a job because I couldn't work. Like I couldn't pay my bills. I was disconnected from everything, including myself. So why? Why do I have an 11-step practice? Because on my own, my best thinking burnt my life to the fucking ground. And I can never forget that. I can never, I say nobody gets here on a good day, right? So if you're here and you're new and you can't stand and be in your own skin, you're miserable. And you know that we're idiots because there's no way out from the hell you find yourself in. Welcome. We've been praying for you. We've been holding your seat, because that's exactly how I felt when I got here. You couldn't have told me there was a way out. I'm a smart girl. I thought it through. And what my 11-step practice helped me do was to understand two things. I really don't know. The God of my understanding has a plan for my life and a vision for my life and things that I need to be present for and I need to do, especially when I don't want to. I didn't know that when I got here. When I got here, I thought, I read the steps. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna do these steps, and then I'm gonna do a movement. I'm gonna go on and have a life, right? When I got here and people had been here 20, 30, 40 years, I was like, well, are they stupid? Like, why are they still here? Like, surely you figured it out by now, right? And I didn't fully understand that what it meant to have conscious contact with God meant that I have to always be striving, always be reaching beyond my own selfishness, beyond my self-will. Or I can go back to where I came from. My misery is refunded to me all the time. I find myself living in the bedevilments all the time. It's either conscious contact or the bedevilments. It's not, my life, I don't have a lot of space. Like, I don't get the rosy, things are happy, I'm coasting along, and it takes a while for me to hit pain. Pain comes for me pretty quickly. And so why I have an 11-step practice, why I did the third step in the first place, that surrendered, that allowed me to see, because I can't have conscious contact with something I don't believe in, something that I'm not surrendered to. Like, I got to do that first, right? I could not have just come here. I needed to see, again, self-examination, prayer, meditation together are a foundation of my life. And I needed to gradually see myself. Thank goodness when I got here, it wasn't all revealed to me immediately, right? Because that would have been too much for me. That would have been too much. And as I got more serenity and peace from my conscious contact with God, God would reveal additional things to me about myself, about my purpose, and it took me a while to find it, but my real purpose is hidden on page 77. It tells me to fit myself, because I'm not fit, to fit myself to be of maximum service to God and the people around me. So there are two more reasons why. So, Reggie White, who's on here, told me that every time I'm on a meeting, I'm eating. Excuse me. Fuck you, Reggie. Yeah, every time I'm on the meeting. I mean, it's true. I get in the meeting and it makes me hungry, right? Because I have a lot of feelings, right? I'm listening to y'all, the feelings are coming up and I'm like, let's eat. Let's have something to eat, right? And like I feed my body, and my body reminds me that it's hungry. My soul reminds me that it's hungry too. And like I feed my body, I have to feed my soul. I have to. And when I don't feed my soul, like my stomach growls and, I get hangry, like I know the signs of I need physical food. But over the years, I've learned the signs of spiritual hunger, like what it's like to be spiritually hungry. And I wish I'd learned them sooner, right? If you're new, I hope that you can take this and focus on it and start to identify what the signs of spiritual hunger are for you. Because when I go without eating spiritually too long, I will have a spree. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna buy some stuff I don't need. I'm gonna go out and I might sleep with somebody. I'm gonna eat something. For sure, I'm gonna cuss somebody out. For sure. That's absolutely, I'm gonna do that. When I get spiritually hungry and I don't feed myself, I act out. And all of us will act out in different ways, but they're sprees, right? They're sprees. And they let me know that I am restless, irritable, and discontent. That I've weakened, I've allowed my conscious contact with God to get weakened. And now outside realities are affecting my internal space. Here's a news flash. Jesus, it took me decades to figure this out. Ready? This is the shortcut to happiness for the new people. Joy and happiness have zero to do with what's happening in your life. Joy and happiness are decisions. You can decide. Job, no job, partner, no partner, air conditioning, no air conditioning, trip. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can choose to be happy. And the choice is for me easier the stronger my contact is with God. Because I believe that my God wants me to be happy. The misery and suffering, yeah, sometimes it's to teach me a lesson because I didn't listen, often, usually, most of the time, right? And if I continue to seek God, what happens is over time, the bad things that have happened reveal themselves to me as gifts. They reveal themselves as gifts. Now, I know that sounds crazy, so I'm going to give you an example. And I just started sharing about this at a group level recently. When I was born, my mom abandoned me at birth. And the neuroscience tells me that that's had an impact on my ability to attach. And that's probably true. I have a hard time attaching to people. And the woman she left me with when she didn't send money, I think she got busted, took me and dropped me off with my mother's family. And my aunt, my maternal aunt, who's 12 years older than my mom, had a boyfriend who was a cab driver and a reverend and a trumpet player. And from the time that I was a toddler, and I know this because I asked my sister who's 11 years older than me, he sexually molested us from a toddler. Who does that? Like, how sick and suffering are you, baby? But more than the sexual violation, he loved me. He had a love affair with me as a child. And so he would send me these love letters and he would come get me. And it was sick. It was a sick, twisted, really not good thing. And it had an impact on my notion of what it is to be loved, sex, just a bunch of And so then it made me vulnerable to sexual predators, because it turns out that sexual predators can see or feel on a young woman that she's been molested. I don't know how. And so then I got molested by a parade of people, a parade. And at 13, my boyfriend was, remember, first drink at 4 or 5, Schaefer beer, switched to scotch at 8, in the bars drinking, ordering my own drinks at 13, off and running. I'm in the 8th grade, by the way, at 13. I have a boyfriend who's 24 when I'm 13, right? And I didn't know there was anything wrong with that. And all I wanted, and all of us come with a different, I think, a different thing that we're struggling with. I don't struggle with, "Ooh, I hope you like me." I mean, it would be nice, but kind of like, I'll never have to see none of y'all again. Fuck all y'all. Like that, really, honestly, that's how I feel. No disrespect, but y'all liking me is not what motivates me in life, right? I would like you to like me, and I'm real nice, but that's not my thing. That's not going to drive my life. What drives me is that, can someone love me? Is it possible for another person to love me? And I actually believe, based on my trauma, that it's impossible. And so I'm always seeking God to work around that. I'm always seeking God to shrink that, because, right, my AA hero Ralph says, less of me, more God, less of me, more God. And I've got to be constantly seeking to try to shrink that down, chip away at that, right? Mountains are washed away by waves. Chip it away, chip it away, chip it away, chip it away, right? All of us got something. That's my something. So the boyfriend that I had at 13, and we're drinking, we're smoking, we are all of that. I don't even go to the 8th grade. I skipped the whole, I just don't even go. And he gives me a sexually transmitted disease. But I don't know that. Like, I really am a little girl. I'm in 8th grade. And by the time I get sick and figure that out, I'm sterilized, right? And I carried that forever. I can't tell you how many fourth and fifth steps I carried that through. I can't tell you how long I carried that. The shame that, like, I had done it. But because I don't expect that conscious contact with God makes me perfect, only God is perfect. Conscious contact with God helps fit myself to be of maximum service to God and the people around me. And I'm going to make mistakes. You know, Ali came and shared for us at Bronx Big Book, and he said, my life is peppered with mistakes and the resurgence of ego. Right. That's my story. Why are you telling people my business, Ali? Why? And on the journey, what happened for me recently is I got relieved of that, because I realized that in my woundedness and my desire to have someone love me, every man that said hello and smiled at me, I'd have had a baby. I'd have had a baby. And then I would have been my mom, right? A bunch of kids I couldn't love and I couldn't care for. And then, right, it'd be another burden to carry. So when God removed that from me, because I wasn't capable of managing my reproductive right, I wasn't capable. I didn't have the emotional, spiritual maturity to make good decisions around my own body because of what had happened to me. And God removed it. And I don't feel no way about that no more. I see it now as a gift. Thank you, God. Thank you for not allowing me to create more suffering, and letting me be available to women who are also suffering and say to them, you can be free from anything. You can be free from anything with God. With God. Not with me. I can't, depending on which day you catch me, you don't know what you're going to get. But with God, right? With God. So I have to be committed to this relationship, conscious contact. Prayer and meditation is a strategy, right? Yeah. I'll talk about that. But I've got to be committed to conscious contact, which is the point of the step for me, because that is what allows me to be of service to myself and to others. And like I feed my body, I have to feed my soul. And so I want to also just talk about what it feels like when I get rebellious. Because I really am, I'll be 60 the end of this month. I still behave like I'm 5. I still behave like I'm 5, right? I went and got in my Mercedes Benz and drove to Palisade Parkway to look at the beautiful leaves to complain about some shit that's a gift, right? I still behave like a 5-year-old. And I know that about myself, right? And so what I have to do is as quickly as I'm capable of, say aloud the things to God that I know are crazy, right? If they stay in my head, they kind of sound okay. But when I say them aloud, when I can hear myself say crazy stuff, when I call you and say the crazy stuff in my head, then I can see that it's me. Because the problem is me. Somebody posted today a picture of a crying child, a meme, and it said, I called my sponsor and they told me that all my problems were of my own making. Right, exactly. My problems are of my own making. And 11 helps me avoid either making the mistake that creates the problem or minimize the negative impact. right? Or minimize the suffering that I have. I guess I want to talk now about prayer and meditation, right? Let me just say that when I'm out of touch with God, honestly, the things around me, right? The serenity prayer tells me that I need to know the difference, right? I need to know the difference. What can I change and what can I not change? What can I change? In crazy, you don't know the difference. Like, it's a struggle to know what the difference is. You can have courage about some stuff that's none of your business. I have courage about stuff that's none of my business. I'm courageous in wrong. And so I want to just say that for the new people, physical hunger, I know what that is. Spiritual hunger, when I'm irritable, when I am fussy, when you get on my nerves, when I can't see the God in other people, when I can't see the God in other people. I live in a development, it's like living in a senior community. No, really, which I guess is appropriate given how old I am. But like, this is like old people, and they are cranky often, right? And when I'm connected to God, it's okay. I hold the door, I help them carry the packages, like with a happy, grateful heart. Not like in a patronizing, oh, let me help you. Like, I'm genuinely happy to be of service. And when I'm not in touch with God, I want to hurry up and push the button so they don't get on the elevator with me, right? That's how I know. When I can see the God in other people, it's because I'm connected. Let me talk about my prayer and meditation practice, which when I got here, I really thought that meditation was for yogis, right? Like, it was all of the spiritual people, and you know, they had the music, they had the white sound machines, and they were doing something. And I was like, what are they doing? Why are they still there? And then I tried to do it, and I couldn't stop the movement, right? I couldn't stop and I was like, focus on your breath, focus on your breath, focus on your breath. And thank God I went back and read the book, and right, people helped me see. What the big book says is that we wake up upon awakening and we think about the day ahead. It don't say nothing about follow the breath. It don't say nothing about it. It says, before you jump out of the bed with your best plan, which is probably horrible, stop. Think about the day ahead and ask God, okay, God, how am I going to deal with this? What would you have me do today? Tell me, guide me, show me the way. Who can I be helpful to? It also tells me you can't transmit what you haven't got when I get to the vision for you, right? I got to have something to give. But that's my meditation practice. If a strong 11-step practice is self-examination, prayer, meditation, I got that. If it is prayer and meditation, right? And thank goodness it's not just about prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation towards what? When I go to God, for what? Can I see myself honestly? Because God can see me honestly. Am I standing in the full light? Right? Am I willing to be naked with God? Have all of me. How are you going to have all of me if I'm not willing to share and show you all? Have all of me, good and bad, right? All of me. And I've got to be willing to have an honest appraisal of myself, a flattening of my ego and my pride, and then take that into prayer and meditation. Example, I had this big time job, and I thought that I was big time, and it broke me. Broke. And I was really of service to lots and lots of people, mostly self-will, but super of service to the people around me. And when I came to the end of my capacity and I couldn't figure out how to stay and maintain my sanity, it took me almost 3 years, but I transitioned out of that job. And I don't work now, I'm retired. So to be I grew up in the projects in New York and East River where you got on the elevator and you had to stand in the corner away from the piss that was in a puddle in the middle of the floor. You know what I'm talking about, Teresa, right? I grew up, right? That's how I grew up. I grew up, the phone wasn't never in our name. It was always a hookup. There might be food, there might not be food. The people dispossessed us. That's when the sheriff come and put all your shit out. I was dispossessed. Yeah, that's where I come from. And I don't live like that anymore, right? And if you've been poor, it's always amazing to me that people are like downwardly mobile. I don't need to do that again. I did that. I did that for a long stretch. I'm good. I know all about that. And so I was super careful about how to plan my way out. And I sought God and I sought God and I sought God. And my friends would be like, what'd you do last night? And I'd be like, I fondled my spreadsheet. I have an Excel spreadsheet. I fondled it. I fondled it until just sitting with it meditatively, sitting with it, asking God, what would you have me do? What is the path forward? If you want me to stay here, I'll stay here. I don't think this is what you want. This is awfully painful. I don't know that I'm being useful, God. What do you want me to do? How am I going to do it? What's the path ahead? And then suddenly the numbers made sense. And I transitioned out. I bought a little apartment. I gut rehabbed it. I love a gut rehab. And I have a good life. But I have income property, right? In one of my apartments, the people, pandemic, right? They moved out and, right? And here's my this is my prayer, meditation, practice. I should be worried about that. No, really, I should be worried. No, I refuse, because God's got me. And that's what 11 step has done for me. God's got me. I don't have to worry about anything. Nothing. Not my health, not money, nothing. God's got me. And I've been here 33 years and I've seen it over and over and over again. 2 years sober, no sponsor, in New York, sister dying of AIDS. This is back when you don't know, like, am I going to get it on that doorknob? I'm going to a meeting on the Upper East Side and I put my hand up over and over again. Every day at lunch, I go to that meeting and put my hand up, and every day those people look like they slip right by me. Every day. And you know what I said? Y'all can't have my sobriety. You can't have my date. You can't have my date. And I made a decision. I was going to go to the meeting and just start talking. Fuck it, what they was going to do, put me out? I just started fucking talking. You know what I told those people? When you see a new person, the responsibility pledge is talking about me. I am the person that you need to put your hand out for. My sister's dying. And you won't let me talk. You will let me talk today. I am talking now. Over and over again, God carried me. He carried me. I didn't have that. I was folded, carried me. So now I'm not worried. The people moved out, I'm not worried. I get an agent, I'm not worried. The apartment's not even vacant a month. They're like, we got a tenant for you, done. I don't have to worry. Which means I'm available to do the job that I've been given. And the job that I've been given, the responsibility that I've been given in this sacred society. I tell people that Alcoholics Anonymous is my spiritual practice. It is. I'm not like some of you. I don't have anything else. This is it for me. This is what I got. I got this. I'm working this. So when things get rough, I surrender. I might have a fight in the shower with God. I might act like I'm 5, but ultimately I know I'm going to surrender. I know I'm going to go to God because I know that God has me. And I say, what is it that you want me to know? What is it that you want me to learn? And if I don't get an answer in meditation, I just keep moving. And when I say I keep moving, let me be more clear. Until I get an answer, I don't move on that issue. But while I'm waiting, I move in my 12th step. I practice the principles in all of my affairs, and I help somebody else. I move in the job that I know that I have. I move in the clear direction that I know that I have. I move in the responsibility, the obligation, the duty that I have. Now, I wish y'all would not ask me to never do no shit like this. Now that people are gonna have some fucking questions. But anything you ask me to do, I'm gonna always say yes, because this saved my soul. My mother sold pussy for a living, right? I have such dignity. I'm gonna say this and stop. So part of my 11-step practice, I certainly, upon awakening, reflect on my day. And at night, I certainly hit my knees. I'm trying to be more consistent with like the little, okay, did I have a resentment? I'm not consistent with that, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But the other thing that I do is I listen all day for God's voice. All day. I'm always listening for God's voice. I called Teresa to book her. Man, Teresa gave my ass the runaround too. I called Teresa to book her. And we started talking about my last relationship. And I said to her, I'm just not any good at it. And she was like, well, tell me more. And I told her more. And we got to the end of that, and God spoke through her to me. She said, what sobriety, what emotional maturity you have to say no, to let go. And it gave me perspective. That conscious contact with God, when I don't see what God wants for me, and I talk to people that I trust around me, they can help me see that even if I'm not getting what I want, it's never about what I want. I may be getting exactly what I need. I may be more evolved emotionally and spiritually than I even appreciate or understand. That may be the sign that I really have opened a pathway to God, is I can't tolerate certain kinds of things. My soul doesn't tolerate certain kinds of things. I can't. I'm not so smart, but I don't tolerate people talking to me crazy. I don't tolerate people being unkind. I don't tolerate inconsiderate. I just don't tolerate it. And it's not that I've made some decision. I want to be clear about that. God moves in my life in a way that I, at 33 years in, require a certain peace and grounding in my soul. I need it. I need it. And things that upset that, they might gotta go. They might gotta go. If they don't set well in my soul, maybe that's not for me. And that's okay. Because if it doesn't work right, if it doesn't fit into the life that God has shaped for me, then that tells me that there's something better coming. So I don't know what questions I may answer. This is about to be hilarious, but thank you guys for allowing me. It's a deep honor to be here.